Well, hello everybody and welcome. Thanks for watching. Today's topic, the Rolling Stones and in NOLA at the New Orleans Jazz Festival. A little bit musical history happened, Stones history happened. Um, Nice tidbits for super Stones fans. And in addition to that, um, Mick even got a little bit political, which he almost never does on the stage. But that's coming up in a minute, in case you didn't hear about it. But this last week, Friday, the Stones played New Orleans Jazz Festival. And happily for the folks from New Orleans, they say they've been trying to get together with the Stones to make that happen several times. And so it finally happened. Stones came out, played the festival. And what was really exciting for Stone Cold music fans, music history fans, and hardcore Stones fans was um, Irma Thomas. Let me get her name right. You know that song, Time is on My Side? You'll come running back. One of my favorite Stones songs still from the earliest days, right? And listen, I always thought it was their song until this happened. How dare I call myself a Rolling Stones fan? I always thought it was their song and thought, for some reason, I thought it was their original. But it wasn't their original. Time is on My Side. Irma Thomas sang it before them in 1963. They recorded it. I guess they heard her copy, and they recorded it in 64. They covered it. And well, their cover, the Stones cover of that song, the rest of the story became history. But even Irma Thomas it wasn't her song. Another dude wrote it. Unfortunately, forgot to write his name down in my memory. I don't have it. So sorry, dude, you're lost. You're lost to only the Stone Cold historians are going to know your name. But that dude wrote the song. It was a guy. He wrote the song. She recorded it, Miss Thomas, in 63 when they were all young, right? And Mick and the boys recorded it in 64. And well, they performed at New Orleans Jazz Festival because she is apparently the queen of New Orleans jazz. And so they invited her on stage to sing. They sang the song together. And for the extra little tidbit for Rolling Stones fans was they had not done this song in concert in 25 years. So how about that? So people who were there got to see Mick and her, and it's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. They get to see Mick and her together singing the song on stage, and she still belts it out. Let me tell you, she's an old grandma. Like Mick is an old grandpa at 80. She's an old grandma. And I thought, okay, well, they just took her out of retirement or whatever and took her off the sofa and brought her to sing at the festival. How nice, right? I thought. She's got apparently she's got her own band that she plays with. And that night after she sang with the Stones at the Jazz Festival, that night at midnight, Ronnie Wood shows up to where she's playing with her band. And they did Time is on My Side again, and with Ronnie Wood playing guitar with her band. Very cool. Hunt around on the YouTube and you'll find it. So that was really cool stuff about that. The other thing about Mick Got Political. This was trippy. The Stones almost, they don't get political too much. Street Fighting Man, sure. But they had some others that were not so popular or catchy, and even I don't really like them. Undercover is so-so for me. Undercover, they got a little political too, because they talk about snatching people off the streets at night and whatnot, like in I think they even made like a funky, cheesy video like that, and people in fatigues and like Che Guevara types running around. If my memory serves. Um, but anyway, they're not always there. Nobody listens to the Stones for their political stuff, right? Um, but Mick got political on stage at the New Orleans Jazz Festival. He called out the governor of Louisiana, whatever that guy's name is. I don't know. He's not my governor, so I don't have to care or remember his name. But he called out the governor by name and said something or another. I think he said, to paraphrase, he said something like, "It's such a pleasure to be in New Orleans at the Jazz Festival," because he always talks to the crowd. And despite you have this governor named such and such who's taking the state back to the Stone Age. I said, wow. Now, Mick was right to say those things, and right to call him out, and right to say that that man is taking them back to the Stone Age. But it was incredible that he felt so strong to say that on stage. And the Stones have always been on the right side of these kind of things. I'm reading Keith's book just very quickly. I'm reading Keith's book, Life, and he says, like, the place that they felt the most hatred in the United States, if you recall, they came from England. They came over from England in the early 60s. And in England, the black man was just a dude, another man. Some are bad, some are good, some are cool, some are not, but they're just people, right? In England. And they came over here, and well, of course, we know the experience of the black man in the United States, right? And so they come over here in the early 60s, and Keith said, like, nowhere have we ever seen, like, the most hatred, except for, like, white people in the South. So, hatred that they saw expressed toward, hatred and unfairness expressed, like, toward black people, because they were very cool. And the black people took care of them and helped them when they came and they toured down through the South. And they stayed with black folks and partied with them and all of that because they just accepted them as people. And that's where they could be comfortable. Because the good old boys and the sheriffs down there, forget about it. They were public enemy number one. And they were looking out to get them. So that was the place that they felt the most hatred. So here comes Mick, from being there in 63, 64, and comes back years later and calls out one of their governors on stage. So he felt that strong. So bravo. But that's where we're at. Speak your mind sometimes is important when you have a platform, right? All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.